It's time for Cats Talk Wednesday. Small town and big city joined forces. Vinny Hardy of Lynch, Kentucky, and Terry Brown of Louisville, Kentucky, team up to give you free-flowing, laid-back sports talk. Focus on Kentucky Wildcats, as well as pertinent information in the NBA, NFL, and Major League Baseball.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Happy Wednesday. Welcome to another episode of Cats Talk Wednesday. I am Vinny Hardy, flying solo tonight. Terry TB Brown is out and about, has some places to be and some things to do. We'll talk about that here in just a little bit, but we will still have a fun little episode. Still going to get some stuff in, hit some topics. We'll be back full force next week. And probably got a couple guests as well. I'm just glancing at the TV because, we're learning some stuff. That's the name of this episode, learning stuff. I learned some stuff about who Terry is out and about, meeting and greeting and all that kind of stuff. And I'm sure we'll learn even more next week when he talks about the meet and greet. As a matter of fact, right now his Lakers are on and losing 25-20 to the Memphis Grizzlies, but it's win or go home, or else we're gonna have fishing for the Memphis Grizzlies. And honestly, first quarter they're only up 5. They, to me, should be up by more. They just hit a 3, go up 28-20, but they've missed a bunnies already, little bitty floaters. This is where they come out and make LA have to try to weather their storm, and they're not really doing that good of a job. Only up 6 when you come out with all the angst and aggression and fury because your season's on the line. You're trying to save your season and keep things going. Right now it's 28-24. If this is the best storm they can throw out, this is the best punch they got, LA, in my opinion, is easily going to withstand that. Had some impressive blocks already by LeBron and AD. And look, I can't stand the Lakers. Y'all know this. Can't stand the Lakers. But Memphis is just too young and too inexperienced, too knuckleheady to be able to probably sustain this, in my opinion. If they hold on and stave off elimination, I'll be surprised. Kind of like I was surprised by Atlanta staving off elimination last night in Boston to force a game 6, which, Boston should have took care of that and quit playing around and messing with their food. And they fool around, and now you got to go to another game. And, they could be resting right now. And instead, they got to go back to Atlanta, letting them hang around. We've had JR on several times, and the Hawks are kind of what they are, but here Boston is going to be generous and give them life and make this series last longer than it should have. And, trying to play with fire. Memphis and LA right now, Sacramento and Golden State coming up later on tonight. So, kind of good stuff. New York is beating Cleveland right now as well. So just, all kind of good games. These playoffs have been great. The injuries have been crazy, though, and it's going to shape and change how these matchups play out. And we've talked about it before, all about who's healthy at the right time. And, sometimes titles are won and lost. Dynasties are never able to exist due to injuries and things of that nature. So it is what it is. We're coming to you, as always, courtesy of the BS3 Network. You can watch us on YouTube. You can watch us on Roku, courtesy of the BS3 Network, BS3TVLive.com. Appreciate Ben Sutter allowing us to be part of the BS3 Network. Go to BS3Network.com as well. Go to the website. There's articles there. And got a little too much chapstick on. Wow. Articles there. BS3TVLive.com. You can watch every episode of our podcast as well as all the other podcasts that are part of the umbrella. BS3Network.com. Go to the site. Read articles there. Had a couple up, written one about a month or so ago. Got one up, going up today. Go check that out. Might talk about that here in a little bit as well. But TB text said we wouldn't be able to make it, man. He had a meet and greet, and first of all, I thought he might just be able to hop on for about an hour or so. Turns out, a meet and greet happened, and not able to hop on. So he's out in Des Moines. If you follow him on social media, you already know where he's at. On his Facebook and on his Twitter. But he had a meet and greet with Bruce Campbell. And so, look, any of y'all listen to this show for any length of time, y'all know me and movies and actors. I didn't even know who Bruce Campbell was. And that's probably a travesty to a lot of people. Probably should have known who he was or heard of the guy. So I had to look him up and, see the movie franchise he's part of and the films he's been in. So, I had no idea. But TB, a meet and greet with Bruce Campbell, y'all will probably be able to, y'all that know already know who he is and what he's about. But tune in next week, get the details of how that went, the meet and greet with Bruce Campbell. For y'all who check out all the other content on the BS3 Network, y'all know that the forecast, Ben Sutter, they review movies on that podcast. TB's been on there reviewing documentaries and things of that nature. Matter of fact, we'll just play a promo for the forecast right now because I guarantee you everybody that's part of the forecast knew who Bruce Campbell was and heard of Bruce Campbell. So I'm the one that's in the dark. I've been made fun of before. Like we had Sierra Newton on. They were making fun of me about, Guardians of the Galaxy and, all those types of movies. And I've seen a lot of those, but they were still kind of throwing shade at me because I don't keep up with a lot of movies. Look, if you get me to watch a movie, I'm cool. I'll watch it. It's like pulling teeth to get me to watch it. I'm just not going to be drawn into watching a movie on my own. I'm not the one leading I'm not the one leading the charge. Hey, let's go watch this movie. Hey, such and such is out. Let's go watch it. Such and such is streaming. Let's check it out. Let's go to the theater. That just not me. But if you get me into a movie, I'll more than likely, get invested in it, get involved in it, kind of get caught up in it and enjoy it. But just me on my own watching the movie, it's just not me. But speaking of the forecast, we got a promo. And, there's times I mean to play promos for various podcasts that are part of BS3 Network. And sometimes I do, and sometimes I end up forgetting. So let's go ahead and play a promo for the forecast podcast. And you'll know good and well that they know movies. And check them out to hear their reviews of movies.
There's a 100% chance of a laugh thunderstorm. 4 men with different viewpoints take a movie, show, or documentary and review it uncensored, unfiltered, uncompromised, with no holds barred. Join BS3, Wilkes, King Doc, and HRAP-B as they take on Hollywood their own way. BS3 Network proudly presents The Forecast, where HRAP-B always predicts,
if I owe you something, I ain't got it. And if you need it, get it from God.
live every Monday at 8:30 p.m. Central. Check your local listings for your viewing and listening pleasure.
So Ben, Wilkes, HRAP-B, Doc, Ben and Doc have both been on this podcast multiple times. I bet all those guys know who Bruce Campbell is. I learned who he was today. That's why the name of this episode is Learning Stuff. So I was one in the dark, found out who he is. Hope TB is having a good time at the meet and greet. He sent the text out. He's, all stylish and dapper and up there in Des Moines hanging out with Bruce Campbell. So good stuff there. Other stuff going on too. I want to hit on the SEC, man. Look, we saw the article. I think Pat Forty had the article, but there was a lot of other media outlets curated that content from Pat and put up on their sites about the SEC trying to tighten up, get stricter, stop playing around with the field storming. The fines have been in effect for quite some time, and now we've still seen schools have their field stormed. We saw Tennessee storm the field when they beat Alabama after 15 years of losing to Alabama. LSU stormed the field when they beat Alabama again. Now the common theme is Alabama, and some think maybe Saban is crying or kind of behind this, since he's maybe championing these new stiffer measures, since he was the one that saw the field stormed at his expense twice last year. I'm in the camp that, look, is when you see the upset, let people storm the field. If you storm the field, don't act a pure fool. Be jubilant, be joyous, enjoy it with your fellow fans. Don't go up in the opponent's face. Don't go up and mess with them. Storm the field, climb down. If you got bushes like you do at Auburn or Georgia, try not to get stuck in said shrubbery, because that's not going to be a good rest of the day for you if you try to jump and get stuck in the bushes. I've stormed the field when Tennessee came to Lexington, having beat Kentucky 27 times, like 1984 to 2010. Tennessee won every game. Kentucky breaks that dreaded streak in 2011. With my dad and my sister, we go down and storm the field. When you storm the field, that's memories you'll never forget. You hope to see your team pull the upset. You're kind of thinking, I don't know, because hey, we've been losing this team for so long. When it happens, it's a magical feeling. It's joyous. It's jubilation. It's exhilarating to go and storm the field. I'm not going to be a fan of seeing field storming go away. They're talking about potentially, this is just talk. They just talking that talk. Potentially taking home games away. Like, say, Tennessee comes to Kentucky this year in 2023. If Kentucky beat Tennessee this year, first of all, they wouldn't be field storm worthy. Kentucky's abolished a lot of those field storm worthy losing streaks. But hypothetically, say Kentucky beats Tennessee, storms the field. Well, then you play in Knoxville in 2024. They're talking about taking the 2025 home game away, which means it would be in Knoxville again. And then 2026, it ought to be in Knoxville. It'll be 3 straight road games at that particular rival's house. That was one of the ideas. Forfeiting a win. Kentucky beats Tennessee or Florida, storms the field, and nope, this win that just happened, we're going to forfeit that. It's as if it didn't happen because your fans stormed the field. That's ridiculous. Greg Sankey is tripping. The ADs that are part of the committee that are brainstorming to try to eradicate field storming, they're tripping too. Mitch Barnhart, Kentucky AD, is on that committee, as well as some other ADs throughout the conference. Just look, man, it's fine. Just let it go. That's ridiculous. That's too drastic. If you want to fine them, fine. Get your money and fine them and move on. Don't go to those measures to try to eradicate it. So I said that Memphis is now up 40-27. So maybe the second quarter is where they punch and make LA try to weather the storm that I thought the LA had already weathered. That I thought Memphis was too knuckleheady and boneheaded to try to save their season. I know they're at home, Grindhouse 901, all that, but don't play smart a lot of times. But up 13 right now. So we'll see if they can hold on to it or if they're still just going to set themselves up to be disappointed and delay the inevitable, which is them probably losing this series. But yeah, Phil Storming, don't just let it go. Let it go. There shouldn't be the incidents, but let fans storm the field and enjoy a jubilant win over a hated rival. Speaking of these Grizzlies and Lakers too, Ja Morant, we talk about learning stuff. Ja Morant hadn't learned anything. A lot of injuries in game one of the playoffs, Ja Morant included. And here the other night, he didn't learn anything from hurting that hand and missing a couple games in the series as he tried to jump over LeBron, dunk on LeBron. Don't know what he was doing. Don't really think he had an idea. Comes down weirdly, called for an offensive foul. So he's clearly still not really learning or how to play differently, or and he's young. He's still going to take some more knocks playing like that out of control. Be a high flyer. Be aggressive. Attack the rim, but don't don't be pure Evil Knievel out there. And that was ridiculous, especially when you got hurt in game one and missed some time. And to do that again when you don't, you had no idea what you're doing at all. So Josh still got some learning to do. Josh got some stuff to learn too. Just like I'm learning stuff today, he learned stuff as well. We had Arch Manning going to Texas. This just jumped out at me. Saw it on an article today, and everybody's seeming to go out of their way to let everybody know that Arch going to Texas had nothing to do with NIL. Archie and Cooper and everybody want everybody to know that Arch hasn't taken any NIL money. He wants it to be an old school recruitment. He's not going to take any endorsement deal until he becomes a starter. Right now, he is not the starter. Made his debut in the spring game, went 5-13. Nothing to write home about. Still backing up, I think Quint Ewers or something like that's his name. But they want everybody to know that Arch hasn't taken any NIL dollars, contrary to what many people think, that Texas is the reason he picked, the reason he's a Longhorn because of NIL. Look, Arch doesn't need any NIL money. Arch's situation is unique. Arch's granddaddy and two of his uncles were all in the NFL for long periods of time. His daddy might have been as well, had Cooper not been injured and had his career cut short. So Arch ain't going to need the money, ain't never been in needing the money. Situation is a lot different from a lot of these other guys going to college. So that's great that you're not taking any NIL. Okay, fine. Your situation is a lot different from a lot of folks. So that's just wanted to throw that out there as well. On the UK front, I don't follow every single offseason thing, but we've had transfer portal stuff. Ugana Onyenso thought or initially was going to be leaving. He's back. We did have CJ Frederick transfer to Cincinnati. He just couldn't stay healthy here. Show flashes of hitting some shots, but just, hurt and just couldn't stay healthy. Missed the first year completely and was banged up a lot this year. Damian Collins is transferring, and that's completely understandable. Wish CJ the best as well, but Damian Collins comes here ready to possibly break out and make some strides this year. going into his sophomore season. Last year was his sophomore season. Loses his father right before the start of the season, and to lose your dad at 20, his dad just moved to Lexington to be there to help him out. To lose your father at 20 when you're trying to figure things out in college, that's hard to fathom. It doesn't matter what age you lose a parent. That's, you can be 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. That's still difficult. Imagine it at 20. TB and I have talked about that before. We were both way older than 20 when we lost our dads, and that's still a difficult thing. And so trying to imagine what he went through at the age of 20 is unbelievable. So understandable that he would transfer. Maybe he would go back closer to home. His home state is Texas, from Atlanta, Texas. Maybe he will go back to play closer to home. Look, we had Nate Northington on here who integrated the entire SEC when he stepped on the football field for Kentucky against Ole Miss. He lost a teammate and transferred. Greg Page passed away. And Mr. Northington, just the stress, the sadness, just needed a change of scenery. He transferred to Western Kentucky. Completely understandable. Being one of a few black players there, you integrate the SEC. A lot of pressure on you for what you went through there. It's understandable. So the same thing with Damon Collins. You come in young, lose your father, want to maybe have a change of scenery, go back closer to home. Completely understandable why he would transfer. Severe Wheeler had transferred out a while ago. It's like the word has come out that he is transferring to Washington. So we're seeing a little bit of a pipeline. We've seen Quade Green, Keon Brooks, and now Severe Wheeler all transfer to the Pacific Northwest to play for the Huskies. So wish Severe the best as well. The CATSPYS happened the 21st year of the CATSPYS. ESPN has their ESPYs, Kentucky has their CATSPYS. That's an event that I would like to cover at some point in time. Get the credentials back to be able to cover that event. TB has covered the CATSPYS. When all the players and coaches and everybody, they, dress to the nines, get the tuxes and the formal gowns out. And so just going to go through and give a little bit of recognition to everybody that did receive some CATSPY awards. Let me find it here and click the link. Let's see. So you had a lot of different categories, but a lot of deserving winners, of course. The complete list, won't go through all of it, but go through quite a bit of it. Community Service Award, UK football's Kenneth Horsey. Tori Orcutt for women's swimming and diving. Scarlet Athletes of the Year, Caitlin de Guzman. Gymnastics, Lauren Poole, swimming and diving. Caitlin Brooks, swimming and diving. Aaron Withrow, men's cross country. Academic Teams of the Year, women's swimming and diving, and men's golf. The Bill Kitely Assist Award, named for the great Bill Kitely, longtime equipment manager for Kentucky, through several different basketball coaches. Tubby, Billy G, Cal, Eddie Sutton, Joe B. He was there for years. JT Orem, women's basketball. Clay Ferguson, basketball. Callie Blanford, swimming and diving. Megan Williams, track and field. Heart of a Wildcat, Wendell and Vicky Bell. The Mike Lyden Courage Award, and this is very fitting. It went to Chris Oates, UK linebacker. Everybody knows the tragedy he's been going through with the stroke that he suffered and is continuing to try to rehab from. So a great deal of courage involved to continue to relearn to use your limbs, to relearn motor skills. So Chris Oates, the Mike Lyden Courage Award winner. Female newcomer of the year, Sophia Zaccarello on the rifle team. Male newcomers of the year, Casper Moles for soccer, Levi Sandage, swimming and diving, Jordan Anthony, men's track and field, also football player, Deion Walker, huge D tackle, newcomer of the year as well. So congratulations to those guys. The Blue Heart Award goes to Blair Green. Shout out, fellow Harlan County Black Bear, former UK women's basketball player, Trevor Wallace, linebacker, Caitlin DeGuzman, gymnastics, Bailey Bunn, gymnastics, and the aforementioned CJ Frederick, who is now transferring to Cincinnati, getting back closer to home too, similar to what Damian Collins may do. CJ was from Cincinnati. He was pretty close to home there at Kentucky, but he gets even closer to home by going back to play and finish up his career for the Bearcats of Cincinnati with CJ well there. And CJ and Blair Green are, of course, engaged. So wish them well with their upcoming nuptials, too. Female Athlete of the Year, no-brainer, Abby Steiner, women's track and field. Look, enough said. A lot of people outside Kentucky finally got to know about Abby when she did what she did on the track. An unbelievable season. She won the Bowerman track equivalent of the Heisman, and she was very deserving. She had a monster season for UK track. Male Athlete of the Year, Liam Draxel for men's tennis. Speaking of men's tennis, they brought home the hardware. The SEC tournament title went to UK men's tennis, so congratulations to them as they beat Georgia in 4 sets to 3 to win the match. They were down 3-1, on the verge of losing multiple times. Georgia had a couple match points, but UK rallied and overcame all of that to defeat the Georgia Bulldogs 4 sets to 3. So just a few of the winners of the CATSPYS: Mr. Wildcat Eli Cox, Miss Wildcat Kayla Kowalik, Masai Russell, Caitlin Wheeler, and Raina Worley. So congratulations to all of those winners. And just want to thank everybody for taking the time to listen. We'll get into more NBA playoffs next week. Got a couple guests scheduled. Won't tweet it out just yet, but y'all follow us on Twitter at Cats Talk Wednesday. Cats Talk WED is scrolling right there on the ticker. So when you watch on YouTube or Roku, you'll see that. Follow me at Vinny Hardy, Terry at T-Brown_80. Proud to be a part of the BS3 Network and BS3 Sports. Go check us out on Roku, BS3TVLive.com. And yeah, BS3TVLive.com. We're on demand there. The first podcast underneath the sports tier that you see, you'll find us right there. And check out all the other great podcasts as well, including the forecast as well as others. TB, enjoy your meet and greet with Bruce Campbell. And appreciate everybody taking the time to listen. If you're watching these playoffs, enjoy them. It's going to be a fun night of basketball. Look, I hate the Lakers. Memphis is kind of making people want to root for the Lakers. Dylan Brooks is out here tripping and acting up. And, Memphis is that's hard to do, to have people actually hoping the Lakers knock them out. But, Dylan and all those guys are tripping a little bit. Till next week, y'all, stay tuned. Enjoy your week. Be safe. We'll be back next Wednesday with another episode right here. We always enjoy bringing them to you. Y'all stay safe. And I'll hit this outro button as soon as I find it. And we appreciate y'all watching. It's been Cats Talk Wednesday, BS3 Network, BS3 Sports. Everybody take care now.